On October 23, 2077, the long-feared day finally arrived. As countless air raid sirens heralded the outbreak of nuclear war, tens of millions took to the streets in senseless panic. One by one, great cities across the world were consumed in atomic fire as billions perished. But there were a few, the wealthy, the connected, or the simply lucky, who weathered the apocalypse underground. They were preserved, trapped within enormous vaults, the eponymous leading product of the vault-tec corporation. Defined by the slogan, "Revolutionizing safety for an uncertain future," vault-tec was one of the many companies within the United States that capitalized on the rampant spread of nuclear hysteria. While much of the company's history was lost in the Great War, it existed as a corporate entity as early as the 2030s. Its products consisted mainly of survival resources, ranging from water pumps, reactors and other industrial equipment, to video games and playing cards, all the way to the ZAX line of autonomous intelligences and the revolutionary assisted targeting system. It was the innovative survival shelters, however, vaults, from which the company took its name, that truly separated the corporation from its competitors. The collapse of the United Nations, the outbreak of the Euro-Middle Eastern War, and the spread of the new plague across the world had made the outbreak of nuclear war seem imminent, and vault-tec promised a solution. As part of Operation Safehouse, the United States government began soliciting bids for the construction of a nationwide network of underground bunkers. vault-tec won the bid, in part thanks to the success of its demonstration vault, a fully functioning prototype built outside the company's headquarters in Los Angeles. Engorged financially by this lucrative contract, vault-tec relocated its corporate headquarters to Washington, D.C., leading an ever-growing chain of regional headquarters across the United States and newly annexed Canada. Its internal corporate divisions were similarly expanded and came to include vault-tec Psychological Research, vault-tec Science, vault-tec Security, vault-tec Game Studios, vault-tec Films, and vault-tec Graphics. Through this rapid expansion, the company was better suited to fulfill its company mandate, providing not only the vaults themselves, but everything necessary to survive within them. Simusun lighting, FloorSuck auto cleaner systems, and the SimTech 5000 virtual reality system further cemented vault-tec's position as an industry leader. vault-tec's innovations were considered to be of high quality and generally reliable, a trusted name in the survival industry. To the outside observer, vault-tec exemplified American exceptionalism. This was heavily promoted by vault-tec itself, which encouraged promotional tours of its vaults and laboratories, hosted charities and awards, and even partnered with the Nuka-Cola Corporation to create a themed attraction for the popular amusement park, Nuka World. This idealized view of the company, however, only served to mask the pervasive manipulation and draconian behavior within vault-tec itself. Employees were expected to adhere without exception to the company handbook, which outlined everything from corporate structure and its procedures down to bathroom breaks which could be no longer than 2.25 minutes. These exploitative and abusive labor practices were concealed by the new amended Espionage Act, meant to protect American corporate interests from foreign espionage. In practice, however, it only served to support growing corruption and corporate excess. While the United States was impoverished and struggled to finance Operation Safehouse, relying mainly on the sale of junk bonds, vault-tec executives engaged in unfettered embezzlement and deliberate mismanagement. Despite the excessive carelessness across the construction of the vaults, a number of breakthroughs allowed them to be complete at a rapid pace. By 2063, despite delays and cost overruns, vault-tec was on track to complete the 122 commissioned shelters. The company flaunted its success and overlooked the fact that these facilities would likely only protect less than 0.1% of the total American population. When the Great War was ignited across the world, mankind was set back to the Dark Ages in the span of just 2 hours. The last bits of civilization remained beneath the vaults, though in the years that would follow, many of these vault dwellers would begin to learn that the corruption within vault-tec was present across the vaults themselves. The company, acting on behalf of a shadow government that had begun to exert control across the United States, had decided to subvert the original purpose of the vaults. Only 17 vaults were designed to work as advertised. These would be the control group in a sophisticated and inhuman experiment. The other 105 vaults featured a variety of scenarios which ranged from the relatively mild to downright lethal. Some were not provided enough food, others were filled with only men or at twice their intended capacity. A few were even designed to open prematurely or never fully close, exposing their occupants to radiation before the wastelands outside had cleared. The most bizarre examples included Vault 19, which separated its residents between the colors blue or red, and then provoked each group with feelings of paranoia and distrust. Vault 34 was purposely designed with cramped conditions and an overwhelming array of weapons and ammunition. Vault 106, once sealed, was pumped full of psychoactive drugs, while the dwellers within Vault 11 were forced to select one among their own as a human sacrifice under the threat of extinction, only to be served a congratulatory message should they refuse. Only 5 people remained when that message was eventually broadcast, and unable to cope with the guilt, 4 committed suicide. It is likely that the results of such experiments will never be studied, as in a bit of irony, the company did not survive the apocalypse they promised to overcome. Instead, the legacy of the vaults is just another mystery, spreading rumors and confusions across the strange and astonishing wastelands of America. It is said that some of the greatest wanderers, those who created real change across the wastes, emerged from the vaults. If this is true, then perhaps, in a curious way, vault-tec fulfilled their original purpose and brought a sliver of humanity into a world that left it behind.
The Templin Institute investigates the nations, factions, and organizations of alternate worlds. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to join the Templin Institute, consider pledging to our Patreon page. Along with increased security access, you'll be able to vote in polls to determine future topics, get custom wallpaper every week, and receive some other exclusive rewards.